We Skyped with Snowden when that wasn't such a kind of common thing.
Yeah, exactly.
He started doing that
before he had his own Sirius XM channel.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, and we would get these forecasts, and it's dizzying. We were so drained by the end of every day because it would start at 9 and it just didn't stop. There was this revolving door of, fascinating people who were telling you horrifying things.
Yeah, it's almost like you don't want to know and loved it, and found out only later on that you got to regularly meet with people who did special ops, people who did basically spycraft.
Yes.
And I thought, oh my God, I would do any project where I get to talk to those people.
It was amazing. It was maybe a couple seasons in. One of the writers of the show, Henry Bermel, who actually passed away way too early. He was crazy gifted. But his dad was in the CIA, and so his uncle also, anyway, this man who was very closely connected to him was in the CIA and at a very senior position, just retired. And so this became his project where he would assemble, which we ended up calling Spy Camp every year. And there was a club for spooks and in DC, and we would meet there for about 5 days, just as the writers were starting to think about what the season might be. And we interviewed a pretty wide range of people within that universe, people from within the CIA, and also ambassadors and senators and journalists. And we Skyped with Snowden when that wasn't such a kind of common thing.
Yeah, exactly.
He started doing that
before he had his own Sirius XM channel.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, and we would get these forecasts, and it's dizzying. We were so drained by the end of every day because it would start at 9 and it just didn't stop. There was this revolving door of, fascinating people who were telling you horrifying things.
Yeah, it's almost like you don't want to know how the kitchen works. I mean, there are times where little moments where I've been brought face to face with the fact that everyone's doing their job the best that they can, but we're human beings, and it's an insane world out there. And if you are aware, I think it's one of the problems today is that we're all hyper aware all the time because of 24/7 news. We're all hyper aware of every single possibility for danger all the time. And I think that's not meant to be.
Right.
Just to live your day and get up and make the waffles for the kids. And then say, yeah, exactly, whatever. And I think I'll go I need to get some shoes. Oh, I also need a Bluetooth speaker. You need to exist on that level.
Yeah.
But for you to be made aware by these specialists of every single insane thing that's happening all the time.
Yeah. And they would contradict each other. It was fascinating. I don't know. There was something kind of consoling about it too, because I could see that they were all very invested at the very least. Everybody cared a lot. They didn't all agree with each other. But that was a long time ago. I have no idea what that environment is like now. I really can only imagine. But I have to say,
they may have wiped your mind.
They may have.
Men in Black.
They may have.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. But no, I mean, actually, just doing that show was an amazing way to metabolize what was happening politically. To be able to kind of reflect on it, and make something of it, to comment on it like that was helped me. It helped me feel a little more active. And now I'm just I'm in the much more passive position of just absorbing it and gawking and worrying, and so I miss that.
Yeah, I've had a few moments. I'm sure you have too. I think you went to a White House correspondents' dinner when Obama was president, and you have these moments of meeting these people, and then you see the people around them. I was at some event years ago, and I believe President Obama was there, and then I went back to use the bathroom at one point. I think I was emceeing something. I went back and I see some military guys, and there's like the nuclear football, and you're thinking, they just seem like people, and they probably are. Yeah. And it's more than I want to know. Right. I want to think, do you know what I mean? That there's like a golden palace somewhere.
Right.
No. And look, I'm sure I don't even know what I saw, but it's just a feeling of when you get around power like that, when you get behind the scenes, it's why I'm not a conspiracy theorist. Whenever I've had a chance to peek behind the curtain just a little bit, what I see is people like me doing the best they can.
Right.
And that's why I don't know. I don't think that it's, I don't think they're just masterminds. If they're masterminds, they're probably working at a tech company. They're not working.
Yeah. No, there is something kind of unsettling about that for sure. You sort of are like, oh, you look down and there's no net. But yeah, I don't know. That was a wild ride. And
how many seasons was it all told? I'm trying to remember. Eight seasons.
And we filmed
and draining
all over.
too, I would think. Yeah.
Yeah, but I never worked on anything for that long. And there was something really wonderful about being part of a company and earning that history, and you then develop a kind of fluency that is so helpful. Like we were so efficient, and it was so intimate. And I just loved that feeling of like efficacy, and we would parachute. We filmed all over the place. The first 3 seasons we were primarily in Charlotte, North Carolina, which was standing in for DC, but there were like a month in Tel Aviv but then it became this international show, and we shot a season in Cape Town, which was again standing in for a very different place, but Afghanistan.
I thought you were going to say Cleveland.
Sure.
We couldn't shoot in Cleveland, so we went to Cape Town, South Africa for Cleveland.
Yeah. And then we shot a season in Morocco. We shot a season in Berlin. When a couple months in Budapest. My son Cyrus went to school in all these places. Like he still can't eat couscous because he ate it every day at his school.
What a great experience for a kid, though, because you're through osmosis, he's getting a taste of all these cultures at a really good early age.
Yeah, and he doesn't really share that with his siblings. Cyrus, Rowan was. I was also pregnant with Rowan shooting the show, but he was little. He was, he was like a baby by the end of it. So wasn't like, Cyrus was raised on that set too, and Leslie Linkett Glatter, our primary director, she would literally like cradle him, and and then eventually, while she was directing, and then eventually he would call action and cut, and he I remember when he was a toddler, he was like 3, he'd get really mad at me. He would say, "Back to 1, mommy."
Back they shouldn't even know that.
I know. I was like, what?
Back to 1.
Back to it. So on the set, you're back to your first positions at the end of the take. But anyway, so
it's funny because my daughter, I remember when she was maybe 3, she was really small, and she said something like, I was in the kitchen, and she said, "Yeah, I asked for orange juice," and then cut to you not getting the orange juice. And I was like, cut to, because I spoke that way all the time after just years of being in comedy.
Yeah.
And I thought, oh my God, a 3-year-old is saying cut to. So I think that's how I told her bedtime stories. And then cut to evil monster. I just try to frighten her to go to sleep. But I just, they just pick up the lingo. They're around.
Yeah, and he would be on a playground, and he would kind of teeter up to another kid and say, "My name is Cyrus. I speak English," because it wasn't a given that, the other person necessarily would. And I thought, oh, that's cool. Like he understands that the world is big, and it holds many different kinds of people within it.
And probably also he's very fluent in, his percentages. What do I get from this?
Yes, there's a lot of that generally. What do I get from this?
What do I get?
Yeah.
Then my kid's very interested. My son, very interested in what do I get out of this?
There's a lot of talk of fairness.
You get nothing, and you'll like it. It's so funny because you got started so young and had success. To me, seemingly had success right away. I'm sure that's not how it would feel to you, but you had the success right away, and then you did something that I always think is a great decision. Is you decided, well, I got to go to school.
Yeah.
I
didn't stay there. I didn't graduate, but I sure did go.
If you didn't graduate, you have to leave right now. We only take college graduates here. You did 2 years at Yale.
I did 2 years. Right. I was very present while I was there.
Yeah.
I really did apply myself during those 2 years.
You did Romeo and Juliet, I think in 96. Is that
Yeah, I
right?
was 16 when I did that.
And then you did that, and then you went to school, or was it after?
Yeah, yes, I went to. Gosh, I don't even remember, but I deferred a year. I did a movie. I made a movie called Broke Down Palace, and I just like had a minute, and went. And that first year was just amazing. I was so happy. I mean, I was totally overwhelmed and out of my depths, but it I was just so thirsty, and boy, did I find water.
Thirsty for
just, I think, I didn't really go to high school. I was tutored on set, and so I really had a deficit. Like, I mean, it was.
Also, you want a community of people your age.
I was lonely. I didn't realize how lonely I was. So, but it turns out like all those. It was unorthodox, but those extracurriculars of like working on those sets kind of amounted to something. So I was, that was a choppy initial month.
Yep.
But once I sort of got my bearings and figured out basically how to write an essay, I realized, I can kind of do this. And it was just a blast. I mean, again, it was exhausting, and but wonderful. And it was so nice to just think like for the sake of it, and be making friends who I wasn't, I don't know, working with formally,
Yeah, and that's a connection that you can have the rest of your life.
Yeah. And all those cliches turned out to be true. I still some of my dearest friends. And actually, there's a woman named Sarah Treem, whom I'm a writer who was
writer.
in my same year. I didn't really know her during that time, but she's become a really, really close friend. So, and she kind of insisted that I go to the, I don't know which anniversary or they don't call them that, do they? Reunion.
Yeah.
And I felt like not at all entitled because I didn't have my, my stamp and my certificate but it was great. It was so great to go. And actually, Hugh and I took the kids. We kind of went on a staycation to New Haven at the end of our Christmas break this year. We were feeling a little restless, and we really wanted Pepe's Pizza. So we went and stayed at like the nicest hotel in New Haven, which is, just fine.
Yeah.
And we didn't even go to like see campus, but of course we were there, so we kind of stumbled on, into it. And I was very moved by it. It was so beautiful. And I thought, what the hell what was I complaining about there with my 3 kids? Yeah. Like, I got to sit in these unbelievably gorgeous spaces and read.
People that are lucky enough to go to college, and not everyone is lucky enough to go to college, obviously, but if you're fortunate enough to go, I say just keep in mind, this is a small period of your life where you get to you're not with your parents, you're with these, other people your age, and your job is to think thoughts and read books, and it's really magical. And then, of course, all I can think about when I was there was, in college was, I got to get out of here and get going on my career.
Sure.
And okay, what's the hurry?
Yeah.
But that's how it is.
That is why I left, because it had, in aggregate, it had been about 3 years since I had done any acting. And when I went to college,